shit bothers me a lot. I love the show. It's good. It's intriguing. Tom Hiddleston's awesome. Owen Wilson was fantastic.
Yeah, he's good.
Wow.
That's terrible. So what's up, guys? We're going to break into some conversation about Loki. This is the
Episode 1.
Episode 1. We're a couple days late because they decided to make this thing on Wednesdays instead of Fridays, and you know.
So this video is going to come out about the time you don't give a fuck to ever watch it.
Basically,
because this is going to come
maybe
out
around when episode 2 comes
when
out.
episode 2 comes out. Yeah, you'll see
Yeah.
this one. So don't watch the episode recap for the next episode.
this is like a
Watch
hot
our
video.
show. Yeah.
Hot video for episode 2. This is like we rebrand it immediately, like
Yeah.
put it out there, like, okay, we got this.
All right, hype. Speaking of hype, are you hyped for episode 2 after watching episode 1?
I'm hype on the premise of the entire series. Like, it seems to be really cool. I love the tie-in to where, like, put a pin in where we left off with where Loki sort of disappears in the movies, and you come back and you're right there, so you're tied into it. Like, I'm so glad they did that, because they could have absolutely shit the bed on this and had it be like, oh, that happened, but we're not going to show it to you. And then the fact that they pull back in the cinematics from the actual movie and start you out there is really, really cool, because it brings you back emotionally to where you were at then, like the mystery of what's going on.
No negative space in the transition. Like the show picked up right when he
Perfectly
dipped out.
Yeah.
Yes,
from Infinity or
like the
Endgame.
like the intro sequence that includes all that's amazing. Like I'm like super excited about that. Like that's one of the best things from the first episode for me is seeing that this is going to be good quality. It's going to be really cool because it's going to tie not into but like alongside everything that's going on. What are some of your initial thoughts?
I mean, when he's in line, like, I mean, it's quirky and funny too, but like when he's in line and he's listening to Miss Minutes talking about tying into the Doctor Strange movie, like
Multiverse
like
of
this
Madness.
is going to lead straight into Doctor Strange, and I don't think they advertised it as that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, like, she legit says, the madness was, all the multiverses or the lines will come off and it will create madness in the multiverse.
Yes.
And
So
his,
different direct plug.
they just straight name drop the movie.
Yeah, and if is it for sure that right now? Or
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what they've titled it as,
Yeah.
unless it's a fake title.
I think. Didn't they show Multiverse of Madness when Kevin Feige did the?
they did.
Okay,
the reveal.
so
But they did that with Civil War. They did Captain America and the Serpent Society, and then
and they also did that with Captain Marvel 2, and now it's the Marvels.
Captain Marvel
So
2.
I guess it is. Even though it's official, it is subject to change.
Yeah.
Or subject to when they want to reveal it.
Which I guess this leads directly into Spider-Man, because that's the first movie. That's gonna. I mean, if it is a multiverse movie, that's gonna be the first one to deal with it, Spider-Man. So this is gonna lead straight into that, because that's at the end of this year.
Oh, really?
This is the last tie-in show, I guess, tie-in to our current universe for the year before we start hitting movies, right? Because the other stuff like Armor Wars and What If, they're not tied in. Well, Black Widow's a movie. I'm talking about just the Disney Plus
TV
shows.
Okay, I thought you were talking
What
about
If
content.
definitely is not.
Right.
But is Armor Wars this year?
I thought we talked about it was later this year. We got a couple of shows coming out this year.
Like print off a sheet, the timeline on it or something. It's hard to keep
Well,
track of all this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. It's too much shit to keep
What
up
is it?
with.
Miss Marvel's this year.
Okay, and that's a TV show. But that's going to come out post.
Yeah.
Black Widow's the next movie, but it really doesn't have any multiverse implications.
No.
So Spider-Man should come out
Why
before
wouldn't
Miss
it?
Marvel.
We're
Black Widow.
from the episode. I mean, yeah, sure, but from the episode, we're seeing, stuff happen in the 1850s and stuff. So like, you can jump through any amount of timeline
true.
of this.
I mean, we could be. I mean, the movie we could. I don't know, because original release schedule this would have come out way before.
Well, I get.
And
Well, they
so,
can
like, it
rework
wouldn't
all
make
this
any.
stuff.
It
They
would,
could-
well, it didn't make any sense, because what I was going to say was Black Widow. We could be watching an alternate timeline Black Widow, and then something happens, and she jumps back into our universe, and now we have Black Widow back.
Or you could do something even cooler, which is tie the replacement Black Widow into the show somehow, and not spoil it, but just let it be there hanging, and then you come back to it in some form or fashion, and so it actually some little snippet of a scene could tie you into something that happens in the movie, and you're like, oh, that's that thing.
Well,
Get you excited a little bit. Maybe. That'd be hard.
well, keep in mind that Black Widow was supposed to have been already out over a year ago. So I don't think Black Widow is going to tie into any of the current running shows. I guess the point I was saying, if this is the last Disney Plus show before we get a multiverse movie, right, then, like you said, they've got to push into the movie somehow. So something's got to happen in this one. Because people are disappointed. I was obviously disappointed with WandaVision, thinking we'd get some more tie-ins, some more, I guess, progression or advancement into the phase. This is the last show that has a chance to push towards the new multiverse movies, right? Like, so with Spider-Man coming out, like you said, it's on deck. And if it's a multiverse movie.
And so, in the first episode, we're seeing a bunch of potential, like, spoilers toward Loki, exploding the multiverse and like leading up to that, because when
because you got the red line and they're trying to prune those timelines before they cross that red line. And
that
if it does,
and Loki, we know Loki is coming, has got the power of the jump, and he's going back and he's still in those resets. So I think,
why do you think they didn't show Loki at the end?
Are we? That's what I was about to say. Are we sure that's Loki? And if we're going to say Loki, we need to make sure we clarify which Loki we're talking about. I'm not entirely convinced that the bad Loki is
this
real
Loki that we're following.
I think it is.
Or a Loki.
I think it is.
It'd be a really like interesting story for him to have figured something out and be doing all this to reset his own personal timeline, to put him back into and like screw the multiverse up, to screw the.
He's gonna save Mom.
Maybe save Mom. There's no telling what he could do. I think saving himself is more important than saving Mom, because Mom made him cry when he saw himself die. He was like, purpose.
I wonder if we didn't see Loki, because I mean it is Loki, but it's like a different Loki, because it's a variant, right? And when you see the cartoon people, right, you see the guy with the sharp teeth, the guy with a cup head, big fat.
You could say like a blue Loki or something,
maybe,
because his dad is actually like a blue demon.
Yeah, maybe he's a Frost Loki.
Yeah.
Or a girl Loki. Or
please don't.
Well, when they pointed to the stained glass and it was the devil, I was thinking.
Well, the horn, his helmet, that's sort of tied in. But I thought Mephisto too a little bit too.
Oh, I did too. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of Mephisto.
Because they teased him so much in WandaVision. Yeah. I was like, oh, Mephisto.
I mean, they could do something crazy and have Loki be Mephisto or something, or get possessed by.
Yeah,
Mephisto, or get some magic on, whatever they're gonna do. I don't know.
There's a reason they didn't show Loki though, because I mean they just said we're hunting you, and then immediately show the robed figure, still in the things, but we don't see him, and so there's something.
It might have been confusing for some people, because they're like, which one is that? And like you said, they gotta introduce him.
Jesus Christ! If that confused them, they didn't understand a fucking thing that happened in that show.
No, I get it, but you need to introduce the villain in his costume, or it'll be confusing for people to know which, and they probably got to introduce you to a Loki in non-jumpsuit, because he's not gonna just come out and be in Asgard garb. I don't suppose in episode 2 he's gonna have like one of their uniforms or some variant of their uniforms on.
So how about them saying that what the Avengers did was meant to be, and so like that was part of the timeline plan that they had set up for them.
Well, I mean, at least for me, that's the easy button is to say that right now, and then they can completely redo, retcon, change that in any form or fashion that they want to in the future, like they have, because they have the license to completely do anything they want. As long as they tell a compelling story, nobody cares if they do retcon or crap all over Endgame, as long as it's interesting going forward.
There's a little bit of a problem with me for that though, because they said that's how it's supposed to happen, but you weren't supposed to happen. So he's not supposed to get the Tesseract and escape, right? But by him doing that, they don't have that stone, they have to know.
Well, they go get it from somewhere else.
But he's not supposed to escape with it. So what we saw is a variant branch.
Maybe the only thing that he's not supposed to do is he's not supposed to pick it up and disappear.
Right, but if you don't pick it up and disappear, they get it. And Cap never goes because they go back in time
No,
again, and
because
that's when
it's-
Cap
because
sees
it's laying
her,
out there in
and
the
that's
open.
why he goes back in time and stays.
What's
Like, there's
laying
a
out?
bunch of shit that happens
It's laying out in the
because
open.
he took it.
That would be interesting. That'd be a good way to get Cap back in.
Yeah, when they get him back and just reset the timeline, because that's the thing. Like they said that what they did was supposed to happen, but you weren't supposed to escape.
Yeah.
So, but the only way he escaped was because he had the Tesseract. So that they don't have that now.
That
They
would-
have to go
God,
back.
that would be so much more interesting if they actually did all this to make you think the Cap was going to go away, and then you sort of retcon his story, and let him still be in the universe, and then at some point later give him an actual send off rather than just like that. Nah,
I'm an old man that used to fuck a woman.
I live my life, and then you have him and beside Falcon.
I think Chris Evans is done.
I do too. But it would be interesting.
He's older. He's probably done taking roids. He hated working out in the first place. He ain't coming back.
Yeah, I know. I just think that there's so many options. I think the one person I don't think they're bringing back short of 10 years from now, and he'll be too old to do anything, would be RDJ.
Yeah,
he's not.
He's too rich.
Did the when they lost that one and they had to go back even further? Did anything else happen other than Cap seeing Peggy and deciding, deciding then that he wanted to go
Tony
back?
saw his dad and talked with him.
Yeah, but then Tony died, so it didn't really change anything.
Yeah,
Could have changed his dad. Ripples
Could've.
of Time. They talk about that
they
butterfly
could have made
effect.
him more emotional about making sure that
Maybe
he
in
saved
that-
his daughter.
And maybe more
Maybe
emotional.
something his dad said to him is what made him sacrifice himself.
Well, it could have made his dad more loving, and then Tony wouldn't develop his personality, and then that timeline doesn't get an Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because Tony is the way he is because of the way his dad was. Because remember,
Yeah, he
Tony
felt
always
like
thought
his
his
dad
dad
put
didn't
him
give a
off.
shit about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then his dad comes home, I love you, son. Here, I brought you a new teddy bear. Well, then he didn't get that attitude and become Iron Man. They don't have Iron Man. But my issue with Loki, as far as the time things, and it was supposed to happen, that shit bothers me a lot. I love the show. It's good. It's intriguing. Tom Hiddleston's awesome. Owen Wilson was fantastic.
Yeah, he's good.
Wow.
That's terrible.
But he was great. The whole thing's great. I love the
banter where he keeps rewinding. It was so good.
Yeah, and the aesthetic of the TVA where it was very like Fallout, like an alternative 1950s, just like the Fallout games and shit. I loved it. I was intrigued with it. But when they did it, this is the way it's supposed to happen. That fucking bothers me because it just neuters every character that overcame shit because
Doctor Strange saw all the possibilities. There's only one.
It takes away Tony's snap because this is the way it was supposed to be. So you have all these fucking cocksuckers in our office somewhere where you just must engineer it where Tony snaps. Well, then Tony didn't snap.
Well, are they
To me.
engineering or they let them have the possibility? That's like there's always that weird like conversation about predestination versus free will. Like I don't think they're saying that it's predetermined to think that if anything other would have happened, they would have reset it and give you a do-over. But
I don't know. They know Loki's whole time, his timeline, right?
From
Loki.
multiple timelines too.
Yeah.
Because the Loki,
because he said
he's in.
we have to reset it so it happens over and over and over again. So she dies that way because invariably
That's
a
what I just
variant
said,
comes
though.
off. Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're saying that it's predestination and not free will. Because they're having to, every time that something would change her dying, they got to go and prune it, reset the timeline so she dies over and over and over again.
Yeah, but that's like splitting hairs because it's not predestination. It's that they only allow the one time where you choose the right action that they approve of to exist. It's not predestination. You still make the choice. So it's not. You still make the choice.
I see your point, but I still don't like it.
But you only because the multiverse theory is not like there are 10 universes. In a true multiverse theory, there are infinite realities.
Mm-hmm.
And in infinite realities, at one point you would have made the choice that they agreed upon was the actual choice that you should make that is most beneficial to the world. And that's what they're settled on because they have the ability to weigh every infinite choice that's out there. And they think, but your choice here is the best possible one. So we're sticking with this version of it. Not we're making you choose this because you were destined to do it. It's like splitting hairs, but it's. I like that version of it better than the other way, where it's like I'm forcing you to do this, and if you do not do it this way, then we reset it and replay it.
That sugar helps the medicine go down, but I still don't like the medicine because to me, it just kills all those emotional moments I had, like when Thor, in Endgame, Endgame, where he just turns into Super Thor and he's got both hands and the conviction in his eyes, and like Captain America with Mjolnir, and all the shit that happened before then. It just like that's for me.
I don't understand. Really I don't understand why though, because they still make all those choices and emotions and all that stuff is really real. It's just in a true theory of a multiverse, they shit the bed a billion times also, and so you just saw like the best possible version of what could be, and so you're attached
that's true
to that.
Because Doctor Strange saw 16,905,000, and we got to see the one that worked. But
yeah,
but still, I just hate it when like. I don't know. It just kind of took a little bit of out of it for me. That I don't know. I hate that predestination shit.
But they gotta have a way to.
That's my only complaint, but it's not gonna ruin the show. It's not gonna really ruin the past. I just didn't like it. I mean, so far this has been the best first episode of any of these series. This is the first. Yeah.
Because the order they released them in is like expectation of it being like be good to okay to pretty good to wow. This and that's what I expect.
Wow.
That's what I expect to come out of it. Because so WandaVision was good, but it was way different, and then it didn't hit the high notes you wanted it to hit, but it was still good in its own way. And
it was unique, yeah.
And then Falcon Winter Soldier is the same way. Like
fucking roller coaster ride of good and shit.
Yeah.
But this is the first one where I guess we assumed there would be greater implications in WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, or a greater impact on the larger web of story that they're creating. Now I expect it now. Like I kind of feel like they're setting the stage where this show is going to do what I thought the other two shows, or one of those other two shows, and I don't have many doubts that there's going to be something at the end of this rainbow other than Loki in a new outfit.
Yeah, I think, or a new body.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt.
Because I think that they, showing the red lines, and then the multiverse war and all that. I think that's how it's going to end. I think we're going to end with a multiverse.
Okay.
That's whatever Spider-Man sees and happens in that movie. Doctor Strange,
So I think you think at the end of this Loki series is the bomb detonating the multiverse,
the birth of the multiverse,
and the next few movies is us dealing with it.
Yeah. I think that's what they're going to set. Like I think the first episode with the orange time capsule resets. I think that's going to be where he's going and stealing those is going to be the ammunition that he uses to explode it in some form or fashion.
I guess if he can reverse engineer it, because what it does is it resets the timeline. So my theory there was that he was going in, creating these branches in different spots, and when the team comes to reset the timeline, he's killing them, or whatever's killing them, taking the thing so they can't reset it, and so it'll breach that thing and create enough branches across the red line that it spawns the multiverse.
Theory: bad Loki is a future version of our current good Loki.
Of course. I mean, that's what I think for sure. I think that it's actually not.
He's worked through the TVA, he learned all the tricks in the trade, and now he's going back to old Loki.
I think we'll end up with a Loki that's not bad doing this. Then he'll seem bad because I think that's going to be the flip or the misdirection. Is that the good
TVA is bad and Loki's subverting them? Our good Loki, let's say present Loki, gets disassociated with TVA, realizes that they're bad, they're too powerful, and then he goes to sabotage them, and so the TVA gets old Loki or present Loki to go fight the Loki that did work for him. Because it's now a future version of this current Loki.
They make a big deal.
I have a headache now.
Well, they make a big deal when he first gets him in that room where he's talking about like free. He's interviewing Loki about his speech there in New York. Free will, freedom. There should only be one person making the choice. and that's kind of what TVA is doing, right?
Mhm.
Like
There's
they're
3.
making the choice, well, but they're making the choice that you don't have free will in this, because he was saying he wanted to take it out. Now he's seeing this higher power do it to everybody. So yeah, maybe it feels like they're bad.
I don't think they're taking free
And
will out.
now they've hired a younger Loki to hunt the older Loki.
Mm-hmm.
I could be
And
like,
he's actually a
but I
good
don't.
guy.
It could be just a circular thing. Like this version becomes that version, and it's the way things have to happen. Instead of this version is hunting that version, they hired him to hunt that version.
Two different versions. It's the same version.
It's the same version. It's the same.
further
Well, that's
down
what I'm
the
saying. The
timeline.
exact same Loki, except the Loki that's doing all the bad shit.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of years under his belt working for the TVA.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be. I think
There's a fucking show that did that. What am I thinking? Like Tom Cop?
There was a
Jean-Claude Van
movie.
Damme?
There was a
never
movie
watched it.
Tom Cop was great. We gotta
with
watch
Bruce Willis and
it. Looper.
Looper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Looper.
I haven't seen that either.
We got issues.
No.
But yeah, it's like Looper. Same situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a young Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I know the premise. I just
Okay.
never watched the movie. 'Cause
Yeah.
It seemed like it was pretty obvious that
Yeah.
he doesn't kill himself when he's young.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea.
Screws his whole life up. I don't know.
So-
I think that the thing here is they're gonna paint you in a corner where you think Loki's fighting Loki, but Loki's not fighting Loki. Loki's gonna understand what he's trying to accomplish at some point, and he becomes that guy.
So we do at the end of it. Do we only end up with one Loki?
I think we end up with no Lokis.
Loki kill Loki.
Yeah, Loki kill Loki. But Loki, I
Think-
think Loki sacrifices
Loki
himself
killed-
to the multiverse.
Yeah, or that's what I was gonna say. Or he has to like be the center point explosion or whatever for it to go off.
Something like that. If he is trying to, because I mean, to really set a multiverse out, does he have to get rid of the TVA, or is it that he just?
Because I mean, if he
makes
can create the multiverse, right? Then there's infinite realities where his mother's alive. There's infinite realities where he's God King. There's infinite reality, so
Mhm.
like his grand purpose that he was talking about, like
That's how
that.
much of Rick and Morty they steal for this.
I wonder if they're consultants.
Like, definitely could be. I mean, that's a crazy show, but that's like the forebearer, like the popular culture forebearer for the multiverse idea.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that portrays it in that way where you can just move across multiverses. And I mean, whatever the sliders and all those.
Sliders and Marvel has a team called the Exiles, and so they are a group of heroes from different realities, and they're basically sliders. They move from reality to reality. They've got some I don't know if it's the TVA, but there's some corporation behind them, like moving them from reality to reality to complete these objectives and missions. Like there's one where the universe. Age of Apocalypse, where Apocalypse won and took over the Earth and everything. There's the Sabretooth from that version is one of the Exiles, and then there's also another mutant named Blank from that universe. She's like the leader of the Exiles. And
That's
then
how
like
they
the newest
introduced
one,
Cable in the animated series, is he comes from a universe where Apocalypse won.
like a different one, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's trying to stop
Not
it.
he didn't come from the Age of Apocalypse. He come from a different one.
Yeah.
And then there's like they revamped the team, and because it went away for a long time, and then they've redone it here recently. And on that one you have a gay Wolverine with some other metal. It's not adamantium. It's some other metal they created for this version of him. But it's gold when it comes out. It looks gold.
It's awful.
And then
You like that?
I can deal with him being gay, but not gold claws.
Not gold claws. Valkyrie, the movie version of Valkyrie, is part of the team. I don't know if they say it is whatever the universe the MCU is, but it looks like the MCU Valkyrie. Because
So I take it
the
this-
classic one, she looks like a Viking, long
White,
blonde
braided hair, yeah.
yeah.
So to take it, the comic was made after
After
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Okay, so they would be test driving stories in the comics just to see if it's popular or story arcs.
Now
take on.
the first version of Exiles was a long time ago. It was like in the late '90s, mid '90s, late '90s.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go. I mean, in the short term, I think we're just going to see more chaos of him trying to figure out what's going on with the other Loki, and we'll see. Maybe they'll try to delve into why. I think that the biggest thing they're going to do for the first 2 or 3 episodes is just set up how the multiverse works for people that are less familiar with it, and really like flesh that out, because they tried to do that a little bit with how they gave you the cartoon in the middle of the line. That seems weird.
The only concern, I think this is only 5 episodes, so they gotta have to move fast.
Really? It's only 5?
I thought they knew that's what we talked about.
I thought it was 6. I mean, I don't know.
Even if it's 6, they can't dick around too much.
Yeah. It's 6 hours of content. I mean, it's like 6 movies. So,
was that an hour long?
It was about 40 minutes, 42 minutes.
Yeah.
So, 42 times 6, 240 minutes.
4 hours.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Lots of content there. A lot to cover, too.
Yeah, that's not, they can't dick around.
The DB
Cooper
Cooper
didn't get the
thing.
writer from fucking Empire on this one.
That is
so
weird.
We're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a
why put that
weird
even
thing.
I mean, put that in the show. It's like
that almost seemed like
culture reference.
Trailer bait. That whole scene seemed like just trailer bait, like just a scene you'd make for the trailer, because that scene was in all the trailers. You may think, he's going to get into all kind of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Kind of like, and remember Aliens versus Predator, the really shitty one, that first one came out.
Mm-hmm.
In the trailer they showed the 3 fucking predators on top of the pyramid fighting like 1,000 aliens. You're like, this movie's gonna fucking rock, and then you find out that it was a flashback in the movie.
Yeah.
It's total trailer bait. So
Yeah.
I think that DB Cooper thing was just trailer bait.
Should definitely go out to Colorado and try to find it though.
What?
The DB's fortune.
Yeah.
What about that other dude that buried a bunch of stuff in the mountains? Where was that at?
Oh, I don't.
He releases clues every year, or is he dead now? So no more clues are out.
He can still release them by his trust or whatever. But yeah, I think that he just released a series of clues, and then you have to go find it based on those series of clues that are out there, and nobody's ever found it. And people have died going to look for it because of grizzlies and falls.
And there ain't no fucking treasure. This dude's just dickhead.
It might be.
Could be.
Cortez's gold. I mean, none of that shit. None of it was real. So many people died looking for it.
What do you think? What do you rate this episode?
The individual or episode as it was, I'd give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. Now I grade strict, right? So 5 out of 10 is not 1 out of 5, like a lot of people grade shit, right? So there's a lot of weight to my 7.5 on this as the individual episode. Now, hype, I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's got me hyped going into the next episode.
Sure.
So my hype level's up. Feeling good. Enjoyed the episode. It's still Disney. This could go off the fucking rails real quick.
It could. It could for sure.
Now, if we come in and we get a Captain America or Winter Soldier little dip episode, because that was good episode, bad episode, good episode, bad episode, good episode, bad episode, bad episode, bad episode. I'm gonna worry. My hype's gonna deflate pretty quick. But right now, pretty hyped. I like.
Yeah,
it.
I mean, there's a lot of story to tell, so I think that we're not going to get necessarily, gangbusters on the next episode. I think we're going to get a solid build is what I expect out of like the next 2 episodes. By episode 4, we'll probably get a little action, and then we'll have another build into a crescendo.
To a finale.
Yeah.
Well, one thing this show has going for it that the other 2 didn't is, and this is not to be construed as a derogatory comment to the actors of the first 2 shows, but there's some serious talent in the show, right? Tom Hiddleston's a fantastic actor.
Mm.
Okay.
And it's probably the most interesting character that has been on the show so far, too.
Yes.
In Loki.
Right. He's not near as cookie cutter, paint by the numbers. Loki could be anything, and he's got a lot of depth and stuff, so there's a lot to peel off of him.
Yeah, he can monologue, and you're fine with it. He can just rant, and you're okay with it because, he's a good enough actor, and he's, got the authority to do that from how he's been portrayed in the movie series so far.
I got to say, Owen Wilson, I mean, he impressed me. I mean, that was Pacino level acting there. I mean, he's up there.
It was Colston level acting.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. But, it was like a better version of Colston is all it was to me. Like,
nah, Colston was a little bland. He was a little too goody-goody. Owen Wilson, there's a lot more range. You know, I would never see Coulson
sure.
start arguing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people like he was doing with TVA people, and then like his conversation with the kid and everything like that. You know, it was
for sure. I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm not saying
is-
I'm not comparing the actors.
I'm saying
talent,
Owen Wilson, Marlon Brando, Godfather level acting in this show tonight. I was
I liked
extremely
it.
impressed.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know about all that, but it was.
Well,
it was-
there's 6 episodes, so he's got a long way to go to.
I mean, he could have shot his shot on the first episode. Next episode, the long blonde hair and the wow comes back. But so far,
So,
I'm happy.
do you think he'll be somebody important in the world going forward?
I think he's one and done with the series. I think
If they keep
I think
TVA around, probably.
I don't think they will. The TVA's got to go away. It's too fucking powerful. I mean, like what the dude says, yeah, we use some of the Infinity Stones as paperweights. This place is way too fucking powerful to keep around, which is why I think Loki's.
What if TVA goes away, but then he's kind of like a gadget character? You know, he's still got some of his gadgets, and
I would love for him to stick around, and he'd be like a player. That's fine, but the TVA's got to go. The TVA can't stick around.
But they're not though, because we know the Watcher. They're basically just the Watchers, but they're like a time-related version of the Watcher.
Well, we've
Well,
already
they were-
seen the Watchers.
they're.
It wasn't snippets, but
I mean, the Watchers' whole thing is they don't interfere; they just watch, and they are doing a lot of interfering, the pruning and all that stuff.
but with the TVA being so strong as it is, it takes away from a lot of other stuff. Like if they bring in the Living
Who is this going to
Tribunal,
be the next big bad? Are they introducing it right
TVA.
now? Yeah,
the next big bad,
big bad.
like 10-year bad,
Yeah,
could be.
that'd be crazy.
I mean, they're that powerful. I mean, I don't like
They
it.
are very powerful, but I don't
I
know.
mean, fucking
I don't
a
think
drawer
so.
full of Infinity Stones. I mean, like, what
But
the
they don't
hell?
do anything; they're just powerless.
Because
But
the
they don't-
TVA is neuters it, so
But
it can neuter a jar or a drawer full of Infinity Stones. It's too fucking powerful.
Yeah, but they're
They just
very
got
good.
pruned out of existence.
yeah, but they're
didn't
variants of it. They're not,
Yeah.
and then like they can't do anything they can't do magic in wherever they are because they're like out. They're like a
This has got to
different
be some
dimension.
different dimension.
something
Like TVA's got to be like a hub dimension of everywhere else, so they can reach in everywhere else.
like Rick's hub in all his dimensions.
Like,
Or what about when they talk about
Like a
the
purgatory.
branches, right? Create a nexus event. Remember the drug in WandaVision?
Nexus.
Nexus drug.
Yeah.
Because when we looked it up or whatever, looked her
We
up,
couldn't
she's
find
a
Nexus.
nexus being.
Yeah.
She was, she's a nexus being, so there are no variants of her. She's the same across all timelines.
Oh.
Or does she have the ability to make a Nexus event
Could
at any
be.
moment because she can?
Maybe that's what they do in the movie.
I
Because in the
think-
comics, she's a nexus being. She's the same across all of the
Well,
universes.
I think that's the
But-
opposite. Yeah.
But in this, yeah, maybe the nexus means she has a power to create a nexus branch.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. Because I think that
Yeah.
we've already kind of seen that, even though because we know we've seen it already actually because we saw her create a new vision, and
Mhm.
that's a Nexus event. Even if she was meant to do that, like she creates a new branch because before her making him, he didn't exist. So, and same way with the kids too.
I don't know if that's a branch in time though.
We're talking about the town.
It's a branch in reality. No, we're just talking about. But he's
Just a
outside
new
of.
vision.
Well, I mean, created new vision inside the town.
No,
Is-
inside
was
it.
the- is-
They created a new vision, but she gave him life back or whatever, his memory. The white vision.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the white vision was created and talked to old vision, and old vision gave new vision the,
The
memories.
paradox and
So it was
unlocked
the old
core
vision that
memories.
was manifested by
Yeah,
her
but that inside
inside the bubble.
but the old vision gives the new vision his
Yes.
memories and stuff, and so
But
Well,
yeah,
he doesn't
she
give
didn't-
them to him. They're there. He just talks. He gets him to unlock them because
Right.
they're there inside of
you
him.
think that's not anything to do with Wanda? Though?
But-
I'm pretty sure they explain it some way.
Wanda
that
didn't
Wanda,
create the white vision though. White vision's old vision reborn, but she created an old vision.
Yeah, but that's
inside
she's
the circle.
animating. It's like she's animating him with the original Vision's memories.
Yeah, but she, I mean, he was created. He was manifested out of nothing. Because remember, you and I thought that
she
she
was
was
bringing him
puppeting
back.
the body around like this is some fucking dark shit. But no, she manifested him from nothing.
Yeah, sort of.
So-
I mean, is it really or is it an
I think it
illusion?
would have been a branch in time if she would have plucked him from time and brought him there, and then when the world collapsed, he had to go back. And maybe that's what happened, and we just don't
We don't know yet.
We don't know. Yeah, maybe
that could
she plucked him from time
What if we see
instead of
that?
actually creating him.
But he had like none of his previous memories. He couldn't remember anything before the
I
town.
mean, maybe that was an after effect of her plucking him.
And then he did disappear.
Well, it depends on
He
where
went
she.
back.
But it depends on where she
She
plucked
put him
him from too. Because if she plucked him from a much earlier time,
Like 2 days after he was born or whatever.
yeah, no, it couldn't be that far. It'd have to be somewhere where they already had a connection, but didn't have the rest of the information.
Like when they were in Paris,
Yeah, something like that.
fucking shagging each other.
Yeah,
During the peacetime.
As soon as they fell in love, like
Yeah.
that moment, she could have snatched him because that's her strongest memory from that point, and then he could have been there. You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
because we don't understand. We don't have a really.
And maybe that's why she still hears the kids in the book, because they were also plucked from time, or
from an alternate reality
Yeah.
where she was able to.
so she's been creating Nexus events the whole time.
But wouldn't her kids be her? Wouldn't that kind of mess up her being the same across all timelines because she's taking kids from herself from a different timeline? And that Scarlet Witch would be pissed off.
Well, she could be
Yeah.
dead in the timeline she takes him from.
Well, no,
she's
because
the
she's
same.
same.
Yeah, she's the same.
That's what
if
one-
it's the same with the comics, if it goes
That-
with the comics, she's the same.
What if?
So when she dies, she dies.
What if it's the
Also
She can't die in
inverted?
any timeline.
She died in them all.
What
Oh,
if it's the
Well, that I don't think it's like it's definitely not. That don't make any sense. That's too hard to fathom.
But what if it's an inverted nexus? She's the only one of any dimension. Like every other
Yeah, then there
multiverse
is no
does not
Scarlet
have a
Witch.
Scarlet Witch. This is the only one that does. And if she moves, she's not copied or plucked or anything. It's just her.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's
could
why
that
she
be a
create
possibility?
Nexus branches or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Because she's not a follower of the rules.
Like
Uh-huh.
they named that branch Nexus on purpose because and then they plugged the Nexus commercial in the WandaVision show, so they're related somehow.
Or it could be what we thought Mephisto's little lair was.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't what's her name?
Agatha.
Agatha. Didn't Agatha say that place was a nexus where she lost her power in that nexus?
I don't know. If
I don't know if she called it a nexus.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
don't know if she
remember.
called it a
I'll have to
nexus.
look that up.
I think she did. I'm not 100% on that, but I think she called it a nexus and explained how she didn't have her power there.
Well, she explained how she didn't have her power there because she put up the wards,
hexes,
the
yeah.
spells, and that's why Wanda learned that while she was in there, and then she put it up around the town. That's how she lost. Agatha
Yeah.
lost her powers.
Hmm.
But I mean, it could be a nexus point. She might be able to go there and move from reality to reality.
Yeah, I think that's what that was, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just the hex.
This is where it gets confusing.
There's a lot to go back and like do research on this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibility. This is the most possibility I see coming out of any show. Like you walk into WandaVision and you think something's gonna happen, but you
Or
weren't
you
really
hope,
given any,
yeah.
you weren't given any clues, and we know exactly what's gonna happen with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like it is what it is. So with this one we see broader impact
Mhm.
across the world, even on the first episode, and that's cool.
We still got a ways to go. I mean, we're halfway through the year, but we got Black Widow, Shang-Chi,
Spider-Man.
Eternals,
Mm.
and then Spider-Man.
I'm not hyped on Eternals. That trailer killed it for me.
Mm.
Did you watch the trailer?
Mm-hmm. It looked okay. Because it seems like I don't know much about the Eternals, but it seems like they're a little bit like outside of the power level of the normal superheroes, and they don't normally get involved, and now they're going to start doing stuff, and it seems like whatever is coming, they could introduce through the Eternals, or they could even tie back into this, and the TVA is like something that they have to interact with because Loki brings it to the forefront or something.
Also makes the TVA known. Because right
Yeah.
now the TVA works in shadows. Nobody knows. I mean, Loki's like, how the fuck do I even know?
They just erase variants. That
Men in
know.
Black,
Men in
everybody.
Black, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think the TVA can't last. It's too powerful. Like, do they answer to anybody? Do they answer to the Living Tribunal? I mean, it's too much. So it's either a villain that's going to lose, or it's just going to disappear. I don't think it can stay around.
Or
either
Loki
way.
takes over.
fuck. You know, that
I mean-
might be his goal because he's like,
This is
I
the-
mean, hell, damn Owen Wilson put the thought in his head. He's king of space.
Yeah.
If you're in charge of the TVA, you're king of not only space
And
but all
time.
spaces.
Space and time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they did sort of plant that as an idea that now that you say it. That
Fuck, is Owen Wilson
That's
setting him up?
That's what I was about to say. Is Owen Wilson really
Setting
the
him
cloak
up?
figure?
Yeah,
Hmm.
he's the fuck in Mass Effect.
Yeah, because he's putting a bunch of thoughts in Loki's mind,
And he's using him. Yeah, setting him up.
and he's like, time works different around here, and so
Yeah.
maybe he can communicate with his future and past selves or something.
So, our Loki is going to go think he's doing good to take out bad Loki, and then he has that come to Jesus moment with bad Loki to realize the TVA is bad. Owen reveals himself to be the villain.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Hmm. Well, they do
Because he did. Yeah, he pushed Loki a little bit. He's good at interrogating. He's probably
it.
done
Yeah, it does feel
for
like a Loki
10,000 years.
interrogation of himself. He
Yeah.
might. That guy could actually be Loki.
and he's already in charge of the TVA.
Because he can
Yeah,
just
'cause
change
he's-
how he looks.
Yeah. Well, magic doesn't work in the TVA though.
Unless you're Loki.
Yeah,
And you figure it out.
You're in charge.
And
of
you're the
TVA.
boss?
Yeah. Well, he's not really the boss because he's arguing with people and he's having to, talk to the judge.
Yeah.
So he's sort of mid-level.
He schmoozed with that judge a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
like the judge could be in on it, knowing Kaiser Sose a little bit. He's Kaiser Sose.
I don't know. There's a lot of potential to go.
Yeah, and I'm happy with all of them. Like
Yeah.
when we talked about the other shows, it could go this way and that would suck, but it could go this way, and I hope it does because that's good. Like all these different ways this is going,
A lot of mystery with this
I'd
one.
be happy with any of them
You said
as
that
long
now.
as the TVA doesn't stay around. Yeah.
you
It
say
can't
that.
stay around.
You say that now, and 2 weeks from now you'll be like, "Oh,
I'll
this
be
show
bitching
sucked.
like- I'll be bitching like
crap
crazy.
is crap."
Because of fucking Disney and shit. Nothing will happen.
Writers suck.
It'll be 5 episodes of getting Loki a new outfit.
I don't
Because
think
that's literally what's happened in WandaVision.
He's
and
already in a
fucking-
new outfit.
I know, a new outfit. They could sell action figures.
he dies.
I don't think Loki dies.
Well, it did ruin my thought on his death in Infinity War. 'Cause I thought, because I saw Infinity War so many times, like when he steps out of the shadows, there is a sound effect, and I thought for sure that was a clone illusion thing that was stepping out of the shadows, and it wasn't really him, and he was gonna like get away and survive.
But doesn't he have the Reality Stone already?
Yeah, because that's what
He's
he
got the
gives to
powers.
Thanos. But then Thanos crushes it and gets it, and then goes on. So I mean,
Yeah,
he's
at that
got the
time, he's
legit
only
one.
got the Power Stone in his glove at that point.
Yeah,
Because he just
yeah, and he gets the time. Is it the time?
he gets the
stone?
Tesseract.
No,
he
the
gets
Test
the
rate
Space Stone.
space stone. Yeah, that's why he said
Mhm.
we'll teleport out of it. It's blowing up.
You might
But-
be right about the sound effect because they might have wanted that option open. And they
Yeah.
just decided to go a different route with it.
Because when he gets his neck snapped, it's end of file.
Well, this
Yeah.
could like be a direct answer to that quandary, to that question, because this could be the thing that when you hear that sound effect, now they plug in whatever happens here into the backside of that. And it's not actually him dying; it's him, showing up, removing himself, and putting an illusion in there or whatever. Who knows? Because it could be the time police showing up at TVA. Who knows? I mean, they have endless options. Like they're really that's the thing that's exciting about, and the reason it has to go away is you've got to tie down reality and make the timeline believable and fun and easy to follow.
You just can't have shit
Well-
that powerful.
So we're getting What If, and so maybe the whole reason they set What If up after Loki is because they were going to give us the multiverse at the end of Loki, and then here's you some What If shows, and these are what has happened because of the multiverse that Loki expanded or whatever. That'd be pretty cool.
Smart, yeah.
To make it, even though it's animated, it's still tied in because these are universes that happened because now we have a multiverse.
It wouldn't be a show of just if they made a different decision.
Mhm.
It's like this is a different.
This is a different reality.
Yeah, and this happened. It just
Mhm.
didn't happen in Earth 616.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that.
When are those coming out?
Yeah, it comes out this year. I
Yeah,
think.
this year.
Yeah, towards the end of the year.
We're making
So
a big.
it's going to be pre-multiverse. So those are going to probably be like not canon.
If
but
we
pieces of
end
canon?
with if we end with a multiverse here, I'm betting that they're canon.
Even if, well, they probably won't be like.
Because I mean, you could even animate a new character here, and then you could bring them into even though it's animated character, you could cast them and bring them into the MCU somehow if you continue with the multiverse thing.
Right, because I think like some of the tease for What If was
That's
Peggy
how we
Carter
get-
as Captain America.
That's how we get Killmonger back as Black Panther because of the What If show. Because
I
they
fucking
come,
told you.
they come and they
He'd
get
come around.
they
I knew he'd come around.
Well, in the What If show, the Ravagers come and get T'Challa instead of Star-Lord. They come and get T'Challa from the previews that I've seen. So there is no prince in Wakanda. So maybe in that Wakanda, Killmonger becomes the prince, and then in the multiverse, Killmonger becomes Black Panther. And in the multiverse, he comes over in one of these multiverse movies, and now we have
Get to work,
a
Feige.
Black Panther.
You have the answer.
That'd be
It
hilarious.
only took 3 morons to figure it out.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Actually, we just sat here while he figured it out.
Yeah.
You had the
Well,
moronic idea.
we talked about it a
You
while
had the
back.
moronic
I knew,
Check our
I knew
previous
you'd come
video.
around. It's just
No,
a matter of time.
I'm not fine with casting Killmonger as Panther. I'm fine with bringing in a Killmonger who was Black
Hey,
Panther
I'll take it.
from another
You know,
universe.
you know,
Which name does he have though?
Yeah, maybe Black,
Black
Panther.
Panther.
He wouldn't be Killmonger, and he wouldn't have all them knots on him, or the
Okay.
scars or whatever from his kills.
Why not? He could have killed a bunch of people.
He could have, but that's not the same type of Black Panther. Or maybe they just make him savage Black Panther.
that'd be cool.
Well,
Could be a war-torn world.
yeah, could be completely different. Yeah, since T'Challa wasn't ruling it,
Yeah.
Wakanda,
Who knows?
What was I was going to look up the Marvel release
What he would-
schedule.
But he wouldn't have his American accent, so that wouldn't work out either.
Have you watched Michael B. Jordan?
He's the fucking greatest actor of our time.
Like, he'll pull it off, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's over there when he's a kid, so he could probably retain a lot of it.
Yeah, so June 9th was Loki. July 9th's Black Widow. And then just says summer 21 is What If.
Summer?
Yeah.
So August?
Yeah. Let's see.
That'll be a good month. We got What If and football.
What If? September 3rd, Shang-Chi. November 5th, Eternals. December 17th, Spider-Man. And then, dang, they're still saying Hawkeye and Miss Marvel's coming out this year.
This year?
It says to be determined or to be announced 2021, which I know they're through filming both of them.
They're just
They
figuring
ju-
out a place to plug them in. 'Cause
Yeah.
They want a bit. They're still trying to get them in theaters, I guess.
No, they're Disney Plus shows.
Oh, they're shows.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Why are they not doing it in the middle of summer when people want to like watch stuff on vacation?
Keep that monthly subscription.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what that was the thing was that when Wanda started in January, the way that they were rolling I mean, I think it got messed up when they moved Black Widow again, but the way they were rolling the show from like January to February, and then that we were going to have something every single month.
What do we miss? What month did we miss?
We missed
May?
May because Black Widow got pushed back to July again because it was
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to come back out May.
That's why we had a 3-week
Mhm.
break.
Mm-hmm.
But then they dumped a bunch of trailers
Yeah.
in the drought area strategically.
Mm-hmm.
So people have something to talk about.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, we're in a good spot as far as content, and like this is we're in a good place to see lots of things tie together. So
That was one good thing about COVID. I mean, or else this shit would have been a lot more piecemeal.
yeah,
But COVID put the whole schedule back a year, and now they're caught up, and I mean they're already making shit for the end of 2021 now.
Yeah,
I mean we're fucking
they
stacked
finished
up.
they finished filming Thor
Really already?
already.
Damn.
Love and Thunder or
Mhm.
whatever it is. Or,
Chris
It's a
Hemsworth's a
wrap.
busy dude because he just filmed that Hulk movie too.
Yeah,
Hulk
movie.
Hogan biopic.
no, really,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. He'll do good in that.
Hulk Hogan is all over Twitter.
He's
Chris Hemsworth, brother, he's the only one that's got the pythons like me, brother. Fucking A. Like Hulk can't get enough of himself. But yeah, you haven't seen the pictures of him working out?
I know his arms are huge
Yeah.
because I saw where they were just got done with Love and Thunder or whatever it is, and like he looks massive next to Pratt.